3 true horror stories. Story 1: The passenger I never requested. It was close to midnight when Rodrigo accepted the ride. On the surface, it looked normal. Pickup from a central neighborhood, destination only 15 minutes away. But one detail stood out. The fare was unusually high for such a short trip. When he arrived, he did what he always did. Pulled up in front of the building and checked the plate against the passenger's info on the app. Strangely, the man approaching didn't check anything. He just yanked open the back door and slid in quickly, like he was running from something. "You're?" Rodrigo began to ask, but the passenger cut him off. "Just drive." That was the first red flag. Normally, passengers confirmed their name. Against his better judgment, Rodrigo started driving. The ride was silent, but the man's restlessness grew by the minute. He kept staring into the mirrors, as if someone were following them. Rodrigo tried to break the tension, asking if everything was okay, but only got a whisper in response. "They're still there." The words sent a chill through him. Rodrigo thought about canceling the ride, but they were already too far. The GPS pointed to a quiet residential street. When they finally arrived, the man asked, "Pull up on the side, not in front. They're watching me from there." Rodrigo pretended to comply, but his instincts screamed that something was wrong. When the passenger stepped out, he didn't head toward any house. He just stood on the sidewalk, staring at the car, as if waiting for Rodrigo to turn off the engine. A second later, Rodrigo's phone buzzed. Ride canceled. Confused, he glanced back at the seat. Empty. No trace that anyone had been there. Panicking, Rodrigo sped off, but the worst part came afterward. When he checked the app, there was no record of the ride. No pickup, no passenger's name, no address. It was as if the trip had never existed. That night, Rodrigo couldn't sleep, but he swore that when he looked in his rearview mirror before parking at home, he saw the passenger's reflection in the back seat, smiling. Story 2: The neighbor who never left. A young couple, Megan and Chris, had just moved into their new apartment. It was in an old building, the kind with creaky stairwells and thin walls. Their first week went smoothly until Megan began noticing something odd. Every night, usually around 2 or 3 a.m., she heard footsteps in the hallway. Not quick, passing footsteps, but slow, dragging ones. She assumed it was just another neighbor working late shifts. But one night, curiosity got the better of her. She peeked through the peephole. At the end of the hall stood a man. Tall, pale, with shoulders hunched forward. He wasn't moving, just staring directly at her door. Megan gasped and jumped back. Chris, half asleep, told her she was probably imagining things. The next morning, she asked around. None of the neighbors matched the description. In fact, one older resident told her, "Sweetheart, no one's lived in that apartment across from you for years. The man who did, he died inside." From then on, the footsteps grew louder. Some nights, Megan heard faint knocks on their door. Other nights, she swore she heard whispering right outside. One evening, after another sleepless night, Megan left for work early. Chris stayed behind. Hours later, she got a text from him. "Why'd you come back? I thought you had work all day." Megan froze. She texted back immediately, "I didn't come back. I'm still at work." Chris never replied. When Megan rushed home, she found him pale, sitting in the living room, staring at the front door. The chain lock was still in place, but the inside of the door frame was covered in long, deep scratches, as if someone had been trying to claw their way inside. Story 3: The elevator ride. Caleb worked late shifts at a hotel. One night, after finishing around 2 a.m., he stepped into the service elevator to head down to the parking garage. He was exhausted, barely keeping his eyes open, when the elevator stopped on the 5th floor. The doors slid open. No one was there. He pressed G again, but the elevator stayed open, refusing to move. Irritated, Caleb leaned out and called, "Anyone getting on?" Silence. He shrugged and stepped back inside. That's when he noticed something in the corner. Something he swore hadn't been there before. A wet footprint. Then another. They led across the elevator floor, stopping right behind him. Caleb's chest tightened. He spun around, but no one was there. Still, he felt a presence. A cold breath brushing the back of his neck. Finally, the doors closed and the elevator descended. But instead of the garage, it opened onto the basement. A place Caleb had never been, where old furniture and broken equipment were stored. The lights flickered as he stepped out, desperate to find the stairs. That's when he saw her, a woman, soaked from head to toe, her hair matted against her face, standing in the shadows. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Caleb slammed the elevator button repeatedly until the doors closed again. The ride back up felt like hours, and when the doors opened, he bolted straight to his car. The next day, he asked a coworker about the basement. The man looked at him strangely and said, "There is no basement in this building. That elevator doesn't even go below the garage." If these stories gave you chills, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a spine-tingling story. And I want to hear from you. Comment below which story scared you the most, or share your own true horror experience, if you dare.